Good morning, all of you. Today we are going to discuss about the chapter 1 electric charges and fields. Already this chapter has been discussed in the classroom, but for a long time we have discussed, that's why I am taking the revision classes. In the chapter, first concept we have electric charge and its type. Electric charge is a basic property of an object where electric force is generated. And also we can say that electric charge is a property of an object where that one object can attract another object or repel other objects. That is a electric charge. And its types. Electric charges has two types. One is positive charge. Second one, negative charge. Positive charge is nothing but it is a deficiency of electrons. Deficiency of electrons. Negative charge for any object, we will say negative charge as if that object contains excess of electrons. Means electrons has to be more in that object or in that system, or that we will call as negative charge. And for a positive charge, it is a deficiency of electrons. Means a material contains the positive charge means it has some deficiency of electrons. A material contains negative charge means it has excess of electrons. These are the two types of the electric charge. Then we will move to the properties of charges. There are several properties of electric charges. You already know. Briefly I am going to the properties of charges. Like charges repel unlike charges attract. This is the first property of an electric charge. Like charges repel means in a system, if there are only negative charges means those negative charges will have the repulsion between them. If in that system there is a positive charge as well as there is a negative charge means they will attract. That is the first property of electric charge. Second property, charge is quantized. Charge is quantized means in a nature there are n number of charges will be there, but those charges are always present in terms of integral multiple of fundamental charge. This E is a fundamental charge. This is the expression for the fundamental charge. N is an integer. N can take 1, 2, 3, so on. Anything. Means in a nature, charges always present in terms of 1 charge or 2 charge or 3 charge. It may be positive or it may be negative, but it can't present in the half charge, 3/2 charge, 4/5 charge. Like that it will not present. That is the charge is quantized. Third one, charges are conserved. Means conservation of charge. Already conservation of energy. Charges are conserved means, for example, in a system, assume that this is a system. In that system, whatever number of positive charges are there, same number of negative charges will be there. Means in an isolated system, positive charges, algebraic sum of positive charges as well as negative charges will be remain constant. These are the very important properties of the charges. We will use this property in the further. Then I said that electric charge is responsible for the generation of the electric force. Then how we will measure the electric force? There is a law called as Coulomb's law, which states that if there are two charges, now this is Q1 and this is Q2, separated by distance of R. R is the distance of separation between the two charges. Now Coulomb's law is used to measure the magnitude of force between those two charges and also in which direction it is acting. This is a measurement of the electric force. Coulomb's law is very, very important. What it says? It states that electrostatic force of attraction or repulsion between any two point charges in vacuum is, first thing, directly proportional to product of magnitude of two charges and inversely proportional to square of distance between them, and third one, thus electrostatic force of attraction and repulsion always acts along the straight line between the two charges. In the algebraic formula, we can say if this is a F is the electrostatic force of attraction and repulsion, then it will be directly proportional to magnitude of product of two charges and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. Then we can say it will be Q1 Q2 by R square. You know, if you remove the proportionality constant, then you have to substitute the any constant. I will taking that constant as proportionality constant as K. That will be K Q1 Q2 by R square. That K value, to know the value of K, this K value we will equivalent to the permittivity of this free space. Experimentally it is proved that K value will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R square. This 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught value will be, okay, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught value will be, experimentally it is proved that approximately equal to 9 into 10 power 9 Newton meter square per Coulomb square. Then what is meant by this epsilon naught? Epsilon naught is the permittivity of the free space. This is free space, means it is, we are taken here vacuum. And also remember, we are discussing about the point charges. You know already, point charges means it is a charge whose dimension will be very, very less compared to this R. Means distance of separation, if you compare to the dimension of the charge, then this R will be very, very large. For those charges only we are taking, and also we are keeping the two charges in the vacuum only. That's why for the vacuum we have taken permittivity of the free space. Free space or vacuum, whose value will be 8.854 into 10 power minus 12 per Newton per meter square Coulomb square. Remember this law, this epsilon naught we have used since we have kept these two charges in the vacuum. If you keep these two charges in any medium, then this expression will changes. In a medium other than vacuum or free space, then F will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon, not epsilon naught, epsilon Q1 Q2 by R square. This epsilon we will call as, it is permittivity of medium. It will be different for different medium. And also formula for the permittivity of the medium will be epsilon naught into epsilon r. This epsilon r is dielectric constant. Means it is an insulating medium. Epsilon r we will use for the insulating medium. Finally, for a medium we will use for the epsilon, and for the free space epsilon naught, and for an insulating medium it is a dielectric constant epsilon r. Since we have used free space, for free space epsilon r will be equal to 1. That's why in the place of epsilon we will use directly in the epsilon naught in the free space. This is a Coulomb's law. We have taken the magnitude F. If you take vector form, how we will write? Vector form of Coulomb's law. Vector form we will write F12. I will explain further. F12 that will be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by R12 square into R12 cap. Remember F12, we are using the one symbol called as F12. This represents that force acting on Q1 due to Q2. Means force acting on first charge due to second charge. And R12 same. It is a position vector between the Q1 and Q2. R12 is a unit vector which gives the direction of the force that always from 1 to 2, because we are taking F12, it is a force acting on Q1 due to the Q2. That's why we have taken the R12. Means from Q1 to Q2, how much force this Q2 is able to act on the Q1. This R12 represent. R12 is a unit vector which represents the direction of the force between these two charges. This is a Coulomb's law in vector form and also in the magnitude form.